What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe.
Nick, one of the things that we talked about, because the Saints didn't have a head coach at the time, was the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Game and not having a staff in place for those events. And, you know, the draft's going to be big for the Saints this year. They got a top 10 pick, and they need to add to their roster, certainly. So what do you think as far as maybe position of need, like where maybe their main focus would be when it comes to the draft? And they are probably playing catch-up right now, trying to get on the same page between the GM and the coach and the coordinators whenever those hires happen. But what do you think right now is going to be maybe the position or two positions they'll look at there in the top 10?
I think all things being equal, like it's definitely like if you could put any player on this team, I think it definitely has to be some type of defensive lineman, pass rusher. If they're going to a Staley 3-4, you want the Khalil Mack type pass rusher, like whatever it is outside linebacker. Like they need somebody that can get after the quarterback. And I think all things being equal, like if you can have that player sitting there at 9, that's absolutely where you want to go. And I think that's where they need to start building their team from. I think that's their weakest position. I mean, obviously quarterback, but I don't look. I would have been wrong on Bo Nix last year. So if you love someone and he's your guy and you see the vision, all that, cool, go get it. Sure. Like I don't see Jackson Dart as being worth the 9th pick in the draft, and I think that's probably where you end up going if you want a quarterback there. So all things being equal, I mean, I would prefer the Saints to get their pass rusher, but like this team is so like janky right now that I think you can take someone literally at any position, like literally any position. The guy I enjoy watching the most is the Penn State tight end. Like I think he's the most interesting player in the draft. But if it's Genty, like you could sell me on Genty. You could sell me on another offensive tackle. Obviously McMillan, like that type of wide receiver would open up this offense quite a bit. Starks, you could give me Starks. Give me anything, like any type, like you can give me any position. I don't know if the Michigan cornerback, it kind of seems like he's fallen a little bit. Will Johnson, but still, I liked watching him. I like this, like any position at that spot, you could tell me, and I could get my head around it. Like I think they need everything, and if they don't need it today, they're going to need it tomorrow because the person filling that spot's old. So. Give me the best player. If I can take my pick, if I can have a prototype, like any type of defensive lineman that can get after the quarterback, like I don't see how that's going to get better. I don't see how you address it in free agency, and I don't see how they win games until they figure that out.
Nick, you wrote about this on neworleans.football, but one thing you talked about coming from Philly is like how good their lines were, and to build a championship team, you got to build through the lines, which is obvious, right? We all know this, but I guess my question to you would be, this is ultimately super disappointing for the New Orleans Saints because you've been trying to do that, right? 3 first-round picks, spin on offensive linemen since 2020, and your best offensive lineman was a second-round pick in Eric McCoy. So, like, it's one of those things where you've been trying to, you keep missing. Do you know anything about the process and how they evaluate these guys and maybe how they're looking to change their process based on the fact that they really have hamstrung themselves by missing so consistently there?
It's mind blowing, and then you go to the other side too. Like you got the 2 firsts on Davenport, the Peyton Turner, the Foskey, Brzee, the first rounder. Like it's considerable. Like that was the weirdest thing that Kellen Moore said during his press conference was that the considerable investment on the lines. And it was just like, yeah, but like, what's the return? Like, yeah, it's great. You spent a lot of money on this house, but the house is falling down. Like you need Chip and Joanna in there to get this thing right. It's just like, it's not, but look, they gotta, I think the issue is that there's just been reaches and that there's a need and they haven't really been in like great position to get quote unquote sure things at those spots. And especially on the defensive line, and then you're swinging the bat and hoping for the best late in the first round, and you're missing. And look, the whole penning process, like I understand the scouting on him and all that, like big guy, fast, strong, all that, but the way they approached that draft was crazy to me. They made the trade up before the draft, and it was just like, we're going to get in a position and then we're going to draft someone, but like it isn't targeted. And
Wait, I did not remember that. Hold on. They traded up before the draft, not during the draft when they saw like their guy on the board.
No.
What?
No, before the draft. Yeah. They made their moves before the draft, and it was just like they were going to get the player, and it didn't matter. It was just they were moving up an asset. That was DA's first year. I think they wanted to get him set up for success and kind of, okay, we're just gonna have these assets here, and then get the players, and you're set up, and you'll be good to go. And
that's
it wasn't, like it didn't work out. They made the wrong pick. And look, he's become serviceable, but certainly not at that value. So I think it's just really they gotta target the right players and not reach, like not try to make something fit in those spots. I think that's really what it is. Like they've tried to make guys fit, and it's just on the wrong players. Even Fuaga to a degree. Like I think he had a good rookie season, but like you got a guy with like shorter arms, you put him to the other side of the line. Like that's still kind of like he's filling the hole or whatever, but it's still kind of not like prototype what you want at that spot. So I would, I don't know. Like beggars can't be choosers, but at some point, like maybe it's better to say no and not try to force something that isn't there. And I think they've been trying to force it for a while on both sides, and just haven't really been in position to get the right guys.
And here we arrive at the ultimate question on the New Orleans Saints, which is like, does Kellen Moore even matter with the front office that continues to struggle? Only time will tell. Nick Underhill, neworleans.football is the site. Of course, follow Nick on Twitter, Nick_Underhill. Just elite Saints coverage, y'all. Nick, thank you so much, my friend.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.